Okay, let's slow down for a second, breathe, and really tune in. I want to share what's coming through about your person, how they've been feeling, what they've been thinking, and what they're struggling to admit, even to themselves. The strongest message coming in first is this: they're afraid of your light. And I know that sounds intense, but it feels very real. This isn't surface level fear. It's not about them thinking you're too much in an ego way. It's deeper. It's the kind of fear that happens when someone stands in front of something pure, honest, and powerful, and they realize they can't hide from themselves anymore. Because your energy does something to people. And I feel like you may not fully see that. You may not realize how you come across. You may think you're just being you, kind, soft, supportive, maybe quiet, maybe warm, maybe even a little reserved. But the truth is, your presence speaks louder than you think. When you walk into a room, you shift it. People notice you, even when you say nothing, even when you're not trying. There's something about your aura, your vibe, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, that feels bright, healing, clean, real. And the reason this person fears your light is because it exposes them. It's like your presence highlights the parts of them they've been avoiding. Your energy makes their inner world louder. It brings their unhealed things to the surface. It makes them face the truth about what they want, what they feel, what they've been running from, and what they've been pretending doesn't hurt. So they're not scared of you in a hateful way. They're scared of what being near you forces them to feel. This is someone who can't stay asleep around you. They can't stay numb around you. They can't keep wearing masks around you. Because your energy naturally shines into dark corners, even the corners people don't want anyone to see. And I keep picking up that you might not even know the level of impact you have. You may not realize how deeply people read you. You might even underestimate yourself. You might not see yourself as special. You might not see yourself as powerful. But from their perspective, you are. From their perspective, you're the type of person that makes them question everything. Why they move the way they move, why they shut down, why they avoid vulnerability, why they can't communicate properly, why commitment feels heavy, why emotional closeness scares them, why they've been repeating certain cycles. And I'm also feeling that you and this person may see the connection differently. You might describe it one way, but inside of them, the experience is much stronger, much heavier, much deeper than they let on. It's like they've been quietly carrying the truth, but they don't know how to bring it to you without feeling exposed. Because you don't just make them feel love, you make them feel seen. And for someone who isn't healed, being seen can feel like pressure, even when you're not demanding anything. That's why, if you've noticed distance, silence, mixed signals, or inconsistency, it may not be because they don't care. It can actually be because they care, and they don't know how to handle it. Now, the next message that comes through is this: you are their catalyst. This is big. A catalyst is someone who triggers transformation, someone who changes the direction of your life just by existing in it. And when I say trigger, I don't mean you're doing something wrong. I mean you activate something in them emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You make them confront themselves. You make them want to be better. But you also make them realize how far they are from the version of themselves they want to be. So you are both the attraction and the challenge. You are both the comfort and the disruption. You are the reason they feel inspired, and also the reason they feel exposed. And that's why the energy can feel hot and cold. One minute, they're pulled toward you like a magnet. The next minute, they're overwhelmed and backing up. Not because you're unsafe, but because you're too real for the version of them that still wants to hide. I'm picking up that this person has been doing a lot of inner processing, quiet thinking, reflecting, revisiting moments, going over conversations in their head, watching you from a distance, trying to figure out what you mean to them and why you affect them the way you do. This feels like someone who has realized, I can't treat this like another connection, because you're not like their past. Your energy is different, and that's why it's shaking them. It also feels like they may have recognized that the moment they met you, or the moment the connection started getting deeper, something inside them started changing. Maybe they became more emotional. Maybe they became more aware. Maybe they started feeling things they hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe their usual coping mechanisms stopped working. Maybe distractions stopped working. Maybe they couldn't replace you with someone else, no matter how hard they tried. And that's because you didn't just enter their life. You entered their mind. their heart, their spirit. And that's scary for someone who likes to stay in control. This person is very aware of what's happening inside them, but they may not have the emotional tools to communicate it. They may not know how to say, "You make me want to heal." They may not know how to say, "You make me feel exposed." They may not know how to say, "I've never felt this kind of intensity before, and I don't know how to act normal around you." So instead, they keep it inside. They retreat. They go quiet. They watch. They think. They try to act unbothered, but internally it's not calm. And I really feel like they've been wrestling with themselves. A power struggle. Not with you, within themselves. The part of them that wants love versus the part of them that's afraid of love. The part of them that wants to come closer versus the part of them that thinks they'll mess it up. The part of them that wants to open up versus the part of them that fears being judged. Because your light doesn't just feel good, it demands honesty. And if they are carrying guilt, shame, past pain, or emotional immaturity, your presence makes it impossible to ignore. So if you've been feeling like, why is this person acting like this? Why do they pull away when it's good? Why do they get weird when it's deep? This is why. You are triggering their transformation, and that's not always comfortable. Now let me say something clearly. None of this is your responsibility to fix. You are not here to carry someone else's healing. You are not here to shrink so someone else feels safe. You are not here to dim your light so someone else can remain comfortable in their shadows. The truth is, your energy is naturally revealing, and the right person will not punish you for that. The right person will rise to meet you, but this person, they're still learning how to rise. They're still learning how to hold what you bring out of them. They're still learning how to be emotionally present in a connection that actually matters. And I also feel like there's something they want to tell you, a truth they've been sitting on, something about how deeply they feel you, something about how much you've changed them, something about how they see you in a way you don't even see yourself. It's like they want to say, "You have no idea what you do to me," but they don't know how to say it without sounding vulnerable. And vulnerability is not easy for them. So for now, their emotions are showing up as silence, distance, deep thinking, and internal pressure. But the energy feels like it's building, like something is about to shift, like there's a realization happening, like they can't keep pretending they're unaffected, because they are, deeply. And if you've been feeling them strongly lately, even if there's no communication, it's because they're in that space of being pulled back toward you internally, even if they're not acting on it yet. So if you needed confirmation that your connection is real, that you're not crazy, that you're not imagining the intensity, you're not. This person feels you. They fear your light, not because it's wrong, but because it's powerful. And you are their catalyst, not because you were trying to be, but because your presence naturally awakens what's asleep. And the question now is, will they rise? Or will they run? Because your light isn't going anywhere. And you shouldn't change it for anyone. You honestly have no idea how deeply this masculine is affected by you. From your perspective, you're just living your life. You're being yourself. You're walking your own path. But from their perspective, your presence carries a level of influence that is far more powerful than you realize. What's important to understand here is that this isn't something you're doing intentionally. You're not trying to stand out. You're not trying to intimidate. You're not trying to trigger anything. It's effortless for you. The way you show up is natural. The way you move through life is authentic. But to them, it feels massive. Your energy is bright. It's bold. It's undeniable. You carry a quiet confidence, a grounded confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation or permission. And that alone shakes something inside this masculine. Your confidence in who you are, in your beliefs, in your spirituality, in your work, and in your personal journey highlights places where they may still feel unsure or unsteady within themselves. What feels normal to you feels intense to them. And the reason you're not fully picking up on this is because you're focused on your own assignment. You're focused on your growth, your purpose, your life. You're not walking around wondering how your energy is landing on others. You're just being. That's exactly why your presence has such an impact. Your energy naturally brings things to the surface. When you enter someone's life, especially someone who hasn't fully stepped into their own power yet, you activate something in them. You inspire. You awaken. You reveal. Sometimes without saying a word. So even though it feels like you're just existing, this masculine is having a very real, emotional, almost visceral reaction to you. And they don't fully understand it themselves. What makes this connection complicated is that the very thing that intimidates them about you is also the very thing that drew them in. Your strength, your light, your authenticity. That's what attracted them in the first place. That's what keeps pulling them back, even when they try to distance themselves. This creates a push and pull dynamic. One moment they're open with you, warm, charismatic, engaged. They can talk to you easily. They feel drawn in. And then suddenly they pull back. They go quiet. They seem guarded. Sometimes they even come across as cold. This isn't because you did something wrong. This happens because being around you makes them feel like they lose control. And when someone isn't fully secure in themselves yet, losing control can feel scary. Pulling away becomes a way for them to regain a sense of power, even if it's just an illusion. You may take some of this personally at times. You may wonder why their energy shifts so suddenly. You may feel confused, hurt, or misunderstood. But what's coming through very clearly is that their behavior isn't meant to hurt you. You simply affect them more deeply than they know how to handle right now. There's also something very important happening beneath the surface. This masculine is receiving inner guidance when it comes to you. It shows up as a quiet inner voice, a feeling, a knowing, almost like reminders about how to treat you, how to speak to you, how to approach you. It's like they're being told, be careful, be gentle, listen. And that guidance is coming through because of who you are energetically. Your presence isn't something to play with. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're impactful. You carry an energy that brings healing, awareness, and truth. And that kind of energy requires respect. At the same time, it feels like this masculine is resisting the very thing they once asked for. They wanted healing. They wanted love. They wanted change. They wanted growth. And then you appeared. You are a key piece of what they've been manifesting. But now that it's real, now that it's right in front of them, it feels overwhelming. Your light exposes parts of them they've kept hidden. Not dark in a negative way, but unexamined, untouched, unhealed. When you speak, you bring clarity. When you show up, you bring awareness. Sometimes you touch on things they haven't even admitted to themselves yet. And you do it with a level of calm confidence that makes them feel seen in ways they're not used to. That's why they fear your light. And that's also why they're drawn to it. Deep down, they know they were warned. Not warned in a negative sense, but guided. Guided to treat you differently. Guided to handle your energy with care. Guided to slow down and be more intentional with you. Right now, they're reflecting. Trying to understand what this connection means. Trying to figure out how to step forward without feeling overpowered and without pushing you away. You are not too much. Your energy is not wrong. You are doing exactly what you're meant to do, simply by being yourself. And whether they're ready to admit it or not, your presence is changing them. This connection is something this person has never experienced before. They've never been around someone with your level of depth and awareness, and they didn't realize that getting close to you would bring so much of themselves to the surface. They carry a past they don't talk about much, parts of them they keep hidden. And when you came into their life, your presence naturally exposed those areas. Not because you tried to, but because that's what your energy does. They couldn't explain what you made them feel. They felt drawn to you, but also unsettled. On some level, they knew they needed to be careful with you, to treat you differently, to show up better, but they ignored that feeling at the time. Now that they're reflecting, they're realizing they should have handled you with more care. They're seeing that you came into their life with genuine intention, and instead of leaning into that, they pulled back whenever things felt too real. There was a push and pull. Moments of warmth followed by distance. They thought pulling away gave them control, but they're starting to see it was just fear. They're feeling regret now. Regret for not protecting the connection, for not being consistent, for reacting to your light instead of respecting it. And there's something important for you to understand too. Your presence naturally triggers people. You make them see things they've been avoiding. Some people handle that with maturity. Others don't. This person is only now realizing what they had and how they mishandled it. Take what resonates. Leave what doesn't. There's something about you that makes you naturally magnetic. It's not something you try to do. It's just who you are. And because of that, your connections don't always feel simple or easy. People are drawn to you, but at the same time, they don't always know how to handle you. Your presence is strong. Your energy is bright. And when someone gets close to you, they don't just interact with you on the surface. They feel something deeper. They become aware of things within themselves that they usually avoid. That's why some people come close and then pull away. It's not confusion. It's activation. For this person, your energy stays with them. They can't shake it. You come up in their thoughts randomly. They may think about you late at night or when they're alone. You may even show up in their dreams. There's this feeling of being drawn to you while also feeling unsettled by you at the same time. They don't fully understand why you affect them like this. Being around you makes them feel exposed, not because you're doing anything, but because you see beyond the surface. You notice what others miss, and that makes them feel seen in a way they're not used to. They may be watching you quietly or keeping tabs on you in subtle ways. Even if you're talking or interacting normally, a lot of this is unspoken. It's all happening inside of them while they're trying to act calm on the outside. You touched something real in them. At some point, they opened up, or something came up in a conversation that went deeper than they expected. You hit a nerve without meaning to. You gave them space to feel something they weren't ready to face, and now they don't know what to do with that. That's why they feel pulled toward you and scared of you at the same time. They want to be around you. They want to talk to you. They feel drawn to your presence. But they're also afraid that being close to you will expose parts of them they've been hiding. This isn't just romantic energy. This is a pattern in your life. People react strongly to you because you don't live on the surface. You sense what's underneath. You see people for who they really are, not how they present themselves. There's also a strong attraction here, a deep pull that feels difficult for them to control. It's emotional, energetic, and physical all at once. And they know that being near you stirs something inside them, even if you don't say a word. You may not realize how powerful your presence is because you're used to your own energy. But people don't forget you. You leave an impression. You change something in them just by being yourself. This person isn't reacting this way to hurt you. It's coming from something very real inside of them. They may never say it out loud because of pride or fear, but that doesn't change how deeply they feel. And the final energy here is this feeling of being misunderstood. Both of you carry depth. Both of you carry sensitivity. And when two people like that connect, it can feel intense, confusing, and deeply triggering. But your depth is not a flaw. Your intensity is not a problem. You're here to awaken things in people, not to make them comfortable. And that's why they can't stop thinking about you. To be honest, this person may keep showing up in this back and forth way until they feel safe enough to show you a more consistent side of themselves. Right now, they're holding back, not because they don't care, but because they're still trying to understand their own emotions and protect themselves. What's interesting about this connection is that they feel like you should somehow understand what they're going through, while also believing that you probably never could. They struggle to explain what it feels like to be connected to you or to care about someone like you. This experience feels very intense and unfamiliar to them. They don't think you realize how strongly your presence affects people. Your energy, your way of being, stirs emotions in others without you even trying. Unless you've been around someone with a similar presence, you may not fully see it yourself. So even though things may feel hot and cold or confusing right now, this connection is much deeper than it appears. Both of you are gaining awareness that wasn't there before, and because of that, the dynamic is slowly starting to shift. At first, they may have thought you were triggering them for no reason, and you may have thought they were pulling away because of outside issues or something they weren't saying. But this doesn't feel like that. There's a reason you came into their life. You're helping them face parts of themselves they hadn't looked at before. They already have strong feelings for you and a lot of respect for you. But the truth is, just being you affects them deeply. Your presence alone triggers something powerful inside them, and that can feel overwhelming at times. Things may start to move in a new, lighter direction, but until they feel more clarity and emotional safety, they may stay in this familiar pattern. Still, something is unfolding in this connection, and understanding this can help you move forward with more clarity and confidence.